Hi, welcome back to Born to RV. I'm Barbie, and today we're going to talk about how to plan on getting all your stuff gone so you can get gone. We figured we had 10 months from the time we decided, 10 months from our date that we planned on rolling out. Our rollout date was November 15th. Why did we choose November 15th? Because we were having Thanksgiving at our house for the last few years when my mom decided it was too much for her. We needed to let them know so they could prepare, and if nobody's going to pick it up, then we'll head out to restaurants or do whatever. But my brother George and his girl Kathleen picked it up, and they did a great job. Yeah, they were terrific. I was so happy when I drove the tray and the gravy boats over and handed it off to them. So I was thrilled that they picked it up. And that was our date. The date's major important. You need to make sure that it is realistic. You have time to get everything done, but you don't do what I had almost started doing. Well, let's have Thanksgiving. Oh, we might as well have Christmas, and then boom, you're into another time. So pick a date and move towards that. We're going to go full time. We had almost 4,000 square foot house, 3-car garage. Everything was filled to the brim, been there for many years, and we had to get it moving. Also, I had 2 sons at home, but they're college age, so that was easy. Move them over to the dorm. The very first month, we were just smitten with the whole idea. We were so excited. We were making plans left and right, all where are we gonna go. And then, all right, 30 days went by, and we figured we had to get serious about what we were gonna do, how we're gonna get rid of this house. We wasted an entire month on planning our first 3, 4, 5 trips that we were gonna take in our RV. All right, the second month, immediately got online to check the HOA on HOA's scheduled garage sales. So it was a gated community, so there were 2 garage sales a year. I wanted to make sure I didn't miss either one of them. There was going to be one in 2 months, so that was terrific. Plenty of time to get ready. And then 6 months later, boom, we'd have another one. So that was really cool. My plan was to get rid of a lot of the little stuff and any extra furniture at the first garage sale, and save the big stuff for the garage sale right before we planned on leaving the house. 8 months out was our first garage sale. We got rid of anything that was just sitting around. If we had extra furniture that made a room look crowded, we got rid of that at the garage sale. We cleared out so much of the garage. We really cleared out the garage quite well at the garage sale. And my sons had, from their first gaming station all the way through, they never got rid of any of that stuff. They had their gaming room, and they both decided to keep the latest games and get rid of all the other systems. And I remember a cop came by during his lunch break while we were having the garage sale, and he was buying all the old game systems. He was so excited. It feels good to see your stuff go and someone else is getting excited about it. So that was cool. So when we got to 7 months out, on our schedule was to get serious about RVs. John was looking at all the huge Class A's, and I was really pulled towards the smaller travel trailers, especially the retros, the ones with no slide outs. All right, reality coming in. I knew we could not move our life into the smallest trailer, so we needed to come together, and we started focusing on Class C's. So that was our focus. Boom, we were out looking at all Class C's, stuff that we did not even look at before. And that was our mission in the 7 months before our rollout. 6 months before our deadline of hitting the road, it was, we need to educate ourselves on addresses. There are so many options out there. That's some that you need to change your residency to the different states. So we looked at them all. We looked at all different. We did research. We talked to the different organizations to get all of our questions answered. And as we ended up going with mom and dad's house, which that's a whole nother story. But we're having our mail sent over to their place, and so we didn't switch states. We didn't need to switch anything to do with our driver's license or anything like that. 5 months out, moving my sons to the dorms. So that was terrific. It was the end of the month, but to get them all packed up, for them to decide another, yeah. So we let them take what they wanted, kitchen items. So they were, both of them had decked out their kitchens with all kinds of stuff. So 4 months, 4 months before we rolled out, it was time to put the house up for sale. It was so easy with just John and I at home. When we walked out of the house, we knew it was going to stay in perfect order. So 3 months out, clear out the closets. Clear as much stuff out that we, just keep the clothes that we're going to keep. And we donated, my shoes. My husband pulled out all the jackets out of one of the walk-in closets, and I think 3 of them still had price tags on them. Yeah, it was crazy. When you have so much space and you buy and it was insane. It was insanity. But no more. No more. You can't do it. You can't do that when you're on the road. So we went through all the closets, cleared them out, and just constantly donating, went through shoes, all that type of stuff. So we really seriously got into donations. I would move stuff downstairs to the living room, and that's my husband would just start packing them up and go deliver them. So 2 months before our rollout date, we accepted an offer on the house. Now things are getting real, beginning to get interesting. We don't have an RV yet, but we are accepting an offer on the house. So they want to move in November 15th, the date we had picked. It was meant to be, but still no RV. Also, at 2 months out, we had the second and last garage sale. Everything was out there. We had living room, dining room, bedroom sets. We had everything out there. I just set up. We were in a cul-de-sac. I talked to my neighbors and I set everything up. We had a dining room I bought these amazing placemats to go on this dining room. I bought this whole tabletop set to go with this dining room. And a lady down the street was just starting to have Thanksgiving dinner at her house. She was an older lady, and she was shopping with her daughter, and the daughter's like, "This would be so good in your living room, Mom." Oh, that felt so good. She wasn't going to take all the accessories. She didn't think that went with it. And I was like, "No, they go with it. And so they were thrilled with it. They were really, really happy. And the bedroom set, a young couple came, and she wanted to set up her guest room, and they just spent money on the house and their bedroom, the living room, all that type of stuff. And she wanted to set up the guest room, and he said, "Nope, that's it. We're not." And with what we were selling our brand new bedroom set for, it was only a year old. She was able to do what she wanted in the guest room. And it was really cool to hear these little stories, and everybody's thrilled with taking the items. I had those floor ceiling, those mirrors that you lean against the wall. I had 3 of them, and 2 girls bought them that shared an apartment, and they bought 2 of them. And I was like, "Well, take the 3rd one because you're driving, and what if one breaks?" And they're like, "No, we can't afford that." "No, take the 3rd one, that just in case. It's more like a, guaranteed that in case one breaks, you have it." And they were thrilled. They're like, "Oh wow, we can put this one." They were each going to put one in their bedroom. They're going to put the 3rd one out in the living room or the family area. So, it was fun. By this time, it was fun to let everything go. It really was. It felt light. Felt really light. So I invited every lady I was close to. I invited my son's teacher that took an extra effort with him when he needed it. So I invited everybody who meant something to me to lunch. And I made a lunch. It was just a light lunch and everything. And we talked and all that kind of stuff. And my idea was shop at my house. And so at the end of lunch, I said, okay, we're hitting the road and we need to get rid of all this stuff. So I want you to walk around the house and pick out anything you want. And the look on people's faces was just really weird, like nobody was going to move first. And then that's when it hit me to say, it all of a sudden hit me to say, everybody can pick out 3 items of anything you want. It's just my gift to you. And that started it. Everybody jumped up and started moving. And oh, it was so much fun. It was just a lot of fun to have people that meant, something to you, pick out something that you cared about and take it with them. So I loved that day. That was terrific. I'm thrilled that I did that. I will always have that memory. And I remember walking people out to their cars or helping them carry stuff. And, when I think of that item, I think of that person. Now, to this day, when I go out to Lake Mary and visit my girlfriend's house, and she's got my absolute favorite lamp sitting in her living room, I'm so happy. I walk in that door and I see it, and I'm just, wow, that is so cool. It's really neat. So that was a cool thing to do. I really, really like doing it, and I would recommend that to anybody that can do that. Also, at the 2-month mark, I started getting cold feet. We don't have a coach yet. What are we going to get to be RVing in? I started getting cold feet. And yes, I was the one that kicked it off. I'm the one that convinced John about doing it. But I started thinking, what if we don't like it and we're back here in a year? So I got on the phone and reserved a 10-foot by 20-foot air-conditioned garage storage. That's, has those big garages on the front. And I felt wussy about it. I felt like I was being a wimp. I was all in. I was going to be going, but I needed the storage. I wasn't ready to part with everything. And that's what we did. We filled that storage to the brim, as high as it could go and all the way out the door. Well, all the way to the door. It was completely filled. And that is my failure. That is my failure in this whole thing. Because fast forward 1 year after RVing, the first thing to go was everything in that storage. That we came back, I put everything on Craigslist. I picked one day for everybody to meet me there. And I had my sons come out there with me. That's just to be safe. And to help load up all the stuff into the people's trucks and everything. And I had one day that everything moved, and what did not go, I had Purple Heart come by and pick up, and they came by and picked up all the rest of the stuff. So change your addresses as soon as 2 months before your rollout time. Change addresses. I went in, changed everything I had. Went down my list of items that I did way back in the month six months before the rollout. Every mail we got, I would just write down where it came from. And I had my sheet, and I went right through that at the beginning of the 2 months before rollout. And I wanted that extra month to make sure. So for the stuff that you get each month, I wanted that extra month to make sure they changed the addresses. That was the most work that wasn't emotional. Changing an address, not a big deal. But it was tedious, very, very tedious. And if we didn't, some places you needed to call, some places you needed to send forms in, some places you needed this, you needed that. So we jumped through all the hoops and got it all done. At the end of 2 months, we still did not have an RV. We did not even have anything ready as an RV. 1 month before we were rolling out. Actually, at this point, it's 1 month before we're signing for the sale of the house. All right, things are getting a little more anxious, a little more exciting when we're out looking at RVs. We went to La Mesa, just north of Orlando, and as we walked in, we met a young man named Eric. And Eric was fabulous. Eric was terrific. We told him we had no idea what we were doing. You know, we had that's not true. We knew a lot by now. So we told him we still weren't sure, but we were looking at Class C's. We thought, but our heart wasn't into it for some reason. I still like the little trailers. John still liked the big rigs. And he was great. He said, no problem. We're slow today. He said, no pressure. Let's go look what we have. And as we were walking out to the Class C's, he brought us by some Class A's, and he said, why not? Why not a Class A? I get the sense this is what you want. He was talking to John. He said, try it. Eric at La Mesa was fabulous. Eric said, I'm here. It's a slow day. No problem. No pressure. And he took us over to the Class A's. Even though we were talking about the Class C's, he said, check out these Class A's. And we did. And he said, let's take it for a ride. And we did. So as we were rolling out the gate, he asked John, when's the last time you were driving a Class A? And John said, this is my first time. And he's like, wow, this is your first time. So he took us out, driving around, and after he got John comfortable with it and everything, John became really comfortable very quickly. He said, okay, now you. Me? And he said, yeah. And by this time, John's thinking, yes, a Class A is something we can do easily now that he's, not, I hate to say intimidated. He was a pilot in the Army, but they were big. So anyways, so I got behind the wheel. Eric was fabulous. He was so patient, told me how to drive it, and I drove it back into the lot. It was so cool. It was really neat. And so, bam, that's it. We're looking for Class A's. None that were there that day turned our head, but what a help. So if you're in the area and you go to La Mesa, ask for Eric. We were focused on Class A's. We head back over to Tampa so we could walk through the acres and acres at Lazy Days and check out their different Class A's. And on our way over there, we stopped off at RV1 in Tampa. We went through there and we were looking, and they had something, ridiculously priced. Bam, 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 knocked it down in like 2 hours. We never made it to Lazy Days to go look at everything else. We liked this one. I loved it. It was just really neat. It was a 7-year-old Monaco, and I thought it was fabulous. So we took it out for a ride. I even drove it. And we came back and we made our offer on it, and they accepted it. And we were picking it up in 2 weeks. 2 weeks before we roll, we go down to pick up the RV. It's not ready. The stuff they said they were going to get done didn't get done. They said that they were busy that week, everything else. So instead of rolling out with it, we left. We said, we'll be back next week. We expect that stuff done. It was little stuff, but still, we had never had an RV, so we'd rather them fix it. One was the fan, one of those fantastic fans. It didn't work, and they said that they were going to put a new one in. And so anyways, we walked away and said we're coming back next week. We're getting a little nervous now because we're signing the house out in 2 weeks. The next week we go down, everything's done. Everything was done. We're thrilled. We're rode home in the RV. I am so glad I had the house still when we had this used RV. HOA. So we got approval to have the coach there for a week. We were in a cul-de-sac, so it hung out in the road a little bit, but the neighbors were fabulous about it and all. But having the house available to take the furniture apart, to get down and shampoo the carpets and wash every crevice. That's everything that was in that RV that I could wash. I pulled into the kitchen and washed it down. Yeah, it pretty much took that whole week to get the RV ready and put back together. The lady from the title company came to the house as we were finished clearing it out, and we were able to sign all the paperwork there and give her all the keys, and we drove the coach over to the RV park. And this was very in the country RV park. Everything was spread out, and we moved in. It was November 15th, the coldest night in years in Florida, and we had no idea how to turn the heater on. So we're idiots. We're sitting there freezing under these blankets, and yeah, we're so not ready, but that's okay. That's, rookie stuff. If you're already full-time RVing, under comments, put the date you rolled out and what has been your one item that surprised you with RVing. If you're thinking about RVing and you're really serious about it and you've already got into planning, what is your rollout date? I know how exciting it was then. I'm excited for you. Right. Well, thank you, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.